Welcome to Culinary Undertaking. I'm TJ. Thanks for watching. Now today's video is going to be a little bit different. So instead of showing you how to make something or prepare some sort of food, this video was actually requested by somebody that I know. They said, hey, you should do a video and show people what's in your kitchen. And you know, people love to see what's in somebody else's refrigerator, or what utensils and pots and pans, you know, what does someone else use? I thought, well, that sounds a little bit strange to me, but if that's what people like, I'll do one and we'll see how it goes. I'm at capacity, so I'll show you what I have. So everything that's in here is something that I use or that has a purpose that I don't want to get rid of. So I'll kind of go through, show you what I have. Hopefully this is something that you guys like. Let me know in the comments if this was a good video or a stupid video, or if it's something you'd like to see more of in the future, like maybe what's up in my spice cabinet, or what sort of pots and pans do I have, or what other cooking things do I have, like my different crock pots and other things like that. You let me know if you guys want to see it, I'll do it. So let's get in here and I'll show you what I've got. Alright, so there it is. There's all the stuff crammed in my drawer. So we'll go through there. I'll show you one by one. Alright, now some of these things you guys have seen before. You know, a lot of these utensils I use very often when I'm cooking. So I've got things like this little rubber spatula or silicone spatula, and I've got several of them. I've got this one. I've got this one. It's got a little different shape to it. I use them both all the time. There's another one here. I had one similar to this one. It was a little bigger and sturdier, and recently it broke, and so I had to replace it with this one. And one thing I don't like is that it's black and it shows these water spots when I take it out of the dishwasher. But it's a little different. It's good for some things, and so I don't have an opinion on this one yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it. So far, for mixing and stirring, it seems to be okay. If I'm doing other things, like if I'm going to fry some eggs in my nonstick skillet, I know this will flip an egg okay. This one, not so great. So we'll see, but those are kind of my three silicone spatulas, and I've got one more. You guys saw this on one of my other videos I've got. It's actually my daughter's, but there's my little pig spatula. So I do use that one occasionally. So those are my spatulas that I keep in there. I've got my can opener, and I like to have the one that takes the lid off from around the edges and not cut down into it like the old one that Grandma had. And then this one also has a bottle opener and a little point on it to help open you know, canned goods that have pull tabs and stuff, and then it'll open up water bottles or 2-liter bottles or whatever. So I like that one. It's multifunctional. It's a little bulky, but I still like it, so I keep it. I've got 2 sets of these silicone covered tongs. Now I like these a lot for a lot of stuff that I do. They come in great for, you know, like last time I made some chicken, I'd cut it into bite-sized pieces, and I used this big one, and it was great for getting in the pot. I leave it locked and I can use it to kind of stir, then I open it up, and you know, you can kind of fish individual pieces around or do whatever you need to do. The one thing I don't like about these is, like my last video that I did where I made the pork butt. I had a little difficulty in there trying to get the bone out in one, you know, all clean without any meat sticking to it. And these did not grip that bone very well. So if you're trying to pick up something heavy, so like maybe if I was going to make a large steak or something and you wanted to grab it and flip it, these things are, I mean, see the silicone just kind of bends around there. So they're not great for that. I have a pair that's all metal that does work well for that, but I keep them outside next to the smoker. But overall, I do like these. I like having the 2 sizes, so I keep them in there. I've got an ice cream scooper. I used to have 2 of them. I don't know. I may come across the other one stuck in here somewhere. There it is. And they're identical. And they're kind of nice because you use this pointy part right here. I mean, you can get in there with really hard ice cream and it'll dig down in there. It doesn't do a very good job at making like a perfectly round ice cream ball, but I don't care if I'm just eating a bowl of ice cream. To me, it doesn't matter. But this does really good at getting down in there. Why I have 2 of them when my drawer is full, I'm not really sure. So one of these might be going by this older one that's all kind of scuffed up. It might be hitting the road. I've got my garlic press here. You guys have seen me use this several times in different videos. And this is newer. I haven't had this very long, maybe like 6 months, but I like it because you open it up, you can put a head of garlic in there, or an individual clove of garlic you put in there, and you don't have to peel that paper coating off. You just drop the whole thing in there. These little teeth grab it and push into those holes. The garlic comes out. When you open it up, all the paper and everything stays inside. It's a little bit of a pain to dig that thing out, but it does come with this little tool that's built into it. So you can take these little teeth on the end right there. You can kind of dig around, and then when you're cleaning it, this little brush fits into there like that. You can kind of push all the pieces out. So it's not that bad. I don't use it every time I use garlic. If I'm going to make a lot of garlic, I just assume peel it, put it on the cutting board, cut it with my knife. If I'm just using one or two, I'll grab this because it's fast. You can just grab it, squeeze the garlic out, and move on. So I do like having it. It's a little pricey. I think those go for around $20. I got it at my local grocery store. They had a clearance one day. I think I picked it up for under 10 bucks, so I grabbed it. Now, I make a lot of dishes that require, lemon juice or lime juice, whether it's baking or whether I'm cooking something like, tacos or something. So I like to have this around. Again, it's a little, with this part, it's a little bulky and it sits in the drawer. It doesn't really allow other utensils to settle around it very well, but I do like it, and it easily fits lemons and limes in here. I could probably get a smaller orange in here, but it is great for juicing. I don't have to worry about the seeds. It gets a lot more juice out than I can get out just squeezing with my hand. So I do like it. I do keep it around. I've got my wooden spoons and little utensils. Now these two, you can tell by looking at them, I don't use these two very often. I don't know why. I think they just kind of get shuffled. You heard me digging around. They kind of get shoved to the back. This one I use a lot. This is great when I'm making pasta sauce or anything like that. I like the way the shape of the front of the spoon, it kind of gets in and fits the inside of my pans well, so I can get in there, kind of scrape it and stir everything. So I like it a lot. This thing, I love this thing because I use this anytime I'm making any kind of ground meat. It's getting kind of dull. It's not as sharp as it used to be, but this thing works great when you get in, if we want to break the ground meat up when you're cooking it. I love this thing for that. But these two I do use a lot, and I would hate to get rid of this. This thing works great, and when it does eventually break on me or go, I will get another one of these because I love it for breaking up ground meat. Now, one thing in my drawer I do not like is this thing. Now this is made for the same purpose as this. So this is made specifically just to get into a pot and push down and break ground meat up into little pieces. And it does work. I don't think it works as well as my wooden utensil here. It does work. It's very bulky. When you put it in the drawer, it takes up a lot of space. This thing is huge, and it doesn't play well with the other utensils. I don't like it. Why is it still in my drawer? Oh, because once a year, my wife and my daughter decide they want to make some chili, and they like this. My wife bought it. She likes this to bash up her ground meat. These little things, I think these just end up in the drawer because they're tiny, they get lost easy, and I sort of forget they're in there. They're just little silicone grabbers, but they're terrible. I don't like them at all. I put these out like if I make like a vegetable tray or something like that, or if you want to use it to pick up little cookies or something like that when you have people over. They're kind of funny, the little hands, but they don't grab anything. You go to pick up a cucumber slice or a little baby carrot or any kind of veggie you pick up, and the hands just slip right off of it. So you get your food, it's like one of those claw machines. It comes down and slips right off whatever you're trying to pick up. So I don't like them. In fact, I'm going to put them off to the other side, and I think those are going bye-bye. I've got my pasta spoon here, and I do like this. They do work well. Everybody makes one, and it does come in handy to get in there and stir stuff up. I don't use this. I know this hole is meant for measuring pasta. That's like one serving of pasta. I don't ever use that as the measuring device, but I do like this, especially for long pasta like spaghetti or angel hair. It works well for getting in there. And then I also keep it in the bowl after the pasta's cooked, and I also use it as a serving utensil if I'm using spaghetti. If you're using something like rigatoni or something else, they'll just fall right through the hole. It doesn't work well for serving those kind of pasta, but for spaghetti it works. And yes, it's bulky. Yes, it's odd shaped. Yes, this thing takes up a lot of room, and I have a hard time getting utensils around it, but I do use it, so I keep it. I've got one whisk, and it is silicone, and you can see it's very bendy. So for most of the time, what I use it for, like if I'm mixing something up, like if I want to whip an egg or something like that, it works fine for that. If I'm mixing thicker stuff, like if I'm going to make up some pancake batter or if I'm going to make up some cake mix, a lot of times it gets in there and it doesn't work very well. I'll end up having to hold it here to keep it stiffer and use it that way. But it does work, and it was also a gift for Dad. So when Dad gets a gift, you can't get rid of those. But it does work. It is, you know, a little different. It does clean up well because it's made from silicone. So I do keep it. And again, everyone knows these whisks are horrible to throw in a drawer. They tangle up and everything. But because it's silicone, it kind of moves and mushes around and kind of helps it fit into place. You guys have seen this several times. I've made this anytime I'm making mashed potatoes, or when I made banana bread, I use this to mash up my bananas before putting them into the rest of the mix for the banana bread. So I do like that. And despite this area here, if I put this up against the side of the drawer, it fits in there pretty well. It doesn't fight with the other utensils. It doesn't take up that much space. It does work. So I do keep it. I do use it often. This is new. I did not buy this. My wife and my daughter bought this. And this is made for, say you have a pot when you have pasta in it or something you need to drain water off of. You take this, you hold it up against the pot when you pour it, and this holds all your goodies inside the pot while letting the water drain out. I don't use it, I don't like it, but again, the rest of the family uses it, they like it, and we haven't had it very long, just a couple of weeks, so I think they've only used it maybe once, but it doesn't take up a lot of room, so I don't complain, and it stays in the drawer. This is another utensil that's in there that kind of ends up finding its way to the back of the drawer. I don't use it often. Again, it's made out of silicone and it's meant to go inside, you know, water bottles or whatever else you have that, you know, is kind of hard to get in there and dig around with. And it opens up if you want to pour some soap in there. And there's another little brush that's in there. I don't use this thing very often. I remember when I bought it, I had a specific reason for it years ago. I don't remember what that reason was. Now it just ends up hanging out in the back of the drawer. And I think it's going to go bye-bye with these little grabbers. And then I've got this thing. Again, this is another tool that's not mine. I'm finding out doing this video that my wife has more in this drawer than I thought she did. So this slides out like this. And it's pretty disgusting, but I guess it's supposed to look like that because it does get clean every time it gets used. It's not a brush. It's not a baster. This, my wife likes it because the sole purpose of this thing is to put and dab on top of greasy foods. Like you get a pepperoni pizza and there's grease all over it. You put this on there and these little, whatever these things are, they grab the grease and they suck it up and get it off your food. So she loves this to put on greasy food. She'll go around and dab it on there, soak up all the grease. That's why it's discolored and it looks gross. And you can soak it and soak it and soak it in as much hot soapy water as you want, but it will discolor. But it's not greasy to touch, it's not gross. And then I like it because this cover goes in there, so now I don't have to worry about it getting on my other things. But again, it's small, doesn't take up much space, so it stays in the drawer. And I've got a knife sharpener. And I do use this, it does come in handy, but I do use it, it does work, I do like it, so it's one of those that I put up with it being big and bulky because I like it. And I've got two pizza or pie or cake servers, whatever you want to call them. Sometimes if you're having a birthday party and you have maybe two different kinds of cake, or the holidays come around, you have you know, a couple different kind of pie. You have a pecan pie and you have a pumpkin pie. Sometimes it's nice to have two. They kind of fit together decent. You throw them in the drawer, you never know they're there. They don't take up a lot of space. So I do like to have more than one of those. Here's another item I don't use very often. This is a shrimp deveiner. You run this up the back of the shrimp and push the little turds out the top of the shrimp. I don't use it often, but it's one of those things where when you need it, this is like the tool for the job, so it beats trying to do it with some other way, you know, trying to use a fork or something else like this. You know, this was meant to do a specific job, but it's small, doesn't take up that much space, it lays pretty flat, so I keep it for when I do need to have it. Let's see, then I've got your typical assortment of my different spoons and ladles here. Got a slotted spoon. I've got a plastic spoon. I got this old metal spoon. And if you were to ask me, I don't even know where these two came from. I have no idea how they got in my drawer. Who got them, where they were, if I stole them from somebody, if I bought them. I have no idea. They've been in the drawer so long that they're just part of the drawer and they're in there. And then 2 ladles. I know you say, oh, why do you need 2 ladles? But it does come in handy, especially if I make a big crock pot full of chili. I get one of these out one night. You know, we use it for chili. It goes in the dishwasher. And then the next day you have leftovers, but the dishwasher, you haven't run that yet. So you have a backup and you use it the next day. But if you have one of these in the drawer, when you have 2, the way they fit together, you know, they kind of nest down like that. So having 2 doesn't take up any more room than having 1. So I like to have the spare. And spoons, obviously slotted and solid are for 2 different things. But, you know, it's nice to have an assortment of different spoons for whatever reason. And then I got an assortment of spatulas. And again, when you take all these and nest them together, 3 or whatever doesn't take up really any more room than 1, so it's easy to have a few, and you never know when you need them. Alright, now I've got an old pair of tongs. And you can see these work great because, you know, you can get a really good grip on them when your fingers fit through there. You can pick things up that are pretty heavy. You can get a really nice grip on them. The one thing I don't like about these is no matter whether you hand wash them or dishwash them, these things rust. And I don't like that. So these end up getting kind of lost in the drawer. I forget I have them. I don't use them all that often. But when you do need them, I do know that I have them. So if I'm looking for something and I'm like, hey, where's my one set of tongs? I want those. You know, I'll root through the drawer and I'll find them. I wish they could make a pair that didn't rust though. And then I got my little silicone brush, and I'll use this if I'm out on the smoker or doing something and I want to brush some barbecue sauce or melted butter, whatever you got. I like the little silicone brush because it's real easy to clean and I don't have to throw it away like those little disposable ones that are wood handled. You've seen those. But I like having this. It's small, doesn't take up much room. I like it. And I just realized I've got 2 of these. I do go through this drawer periodically and clean house, so it's still strange when you go through and you find out that, hey, somehow this one multiplied. You put loose tea in there, you let go, and you drop it in your water and you stir it around, and then when you pull it out, you open it up and you throw your tea leaves away. So these are just little tea things. I don't need 2 of them. And then this is kind of like that shrimp deveiner that I have, except this is made for crabs. You stick this down on the crab leg and open them up. And again, I don't have crab legs at home all that often. And look, it even says, stolen from Joe's Crab Shack. It's not really stolen, they give them to you. But I don't use it often. But again, it's one of those things where on the occasion when you do have crab legs, well, you wish you had one of these. And again, it's flat, it doesn't take up much room, so I keep one. This is just a little frother, so you can put it in, you can kind of froth up some milk. The kids use it a lot. If they want to make chocolate milk, you pour some of the chocolate in the bottom of a cup. This works great for mixing that up. And so the kids do like it. The wife uses it sometimes for coffee and things like that. I don't use it all that often, but the rest of the family does. And it's small, so it stays around. I've got my little injector here for injecting stuff into meat, and there's a little needle for it. In fact, I think I've got 2. So it does work pretty well. Now these are supposed to be disposable, but you can get several uses out of them. I hand wash it only. I don't put it in the dishwasher. And after a few uses though, it'll start to go. You know, when you're trying to squeeze the liquid out, it'll start coming up through here. This little rubber seal starts to go. But I keep it for a handful of uses, and then when it goes bad, I throw it away and get some more. I've been thinking about getting they make these out of stainless steel. I've been thinking about upgrading to one of those because they last a lot longer. They don't go bad. But for now, these little temporary ones work for me. And way in the back of the drawer, I've got 3 more silicone spatulas that I sort of forgot were in there. This one, now this is, I used to use this a lot, and I think it just got shoved to the back and I forgot about it. but I'll move this back up to the front and use it. These little ones I don't use very often. I think we ended up getting them for the kids when they were little, and you know, they wanted to help do stuff in the kitchen that worked well for them. But I don't know, these may end up going in the yard sale too. I'll put this over in that pile. Put this with my other spatulas. And that's it. And there you have it. There's what's in my kitchen utility or gadget drawer, whatever you want to call it. I hope that helped you. Maybe that gave you an idea of, hey, I should pick one of those up, or hey, I need to go through my drawer at least and clean it out. So, however it helped, I hope it did. Hopefully I didn't get bad advice on people would like to see this video. So let me know down below what you think. If you want to see more videos like that of what I have in my kitchen, or if you don't care and you don't want to see any more of those, I can do it either way. So, thanks for watching. Do me a favor, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please subscribe. I really appreciate it. It helps me out. So, let me know what you think. And as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.